Quickswing presents Hitting Like a Champion with Joe Mauer, Paul Molitor, and Mark Lunch McKenzie.
That head right through the hitting zone. Hello, my name is Jim Mauer, Vice President of Quickswing Incorporated. We thank you for spending the day with us. We're going to talk a little bit about hitting and mostly about our Quickswing batting training aid. Quickswing was invented by my cousin Jake Mauer in an attempt to improve hitters of all ages on their bat speed. The Quickswing is multifaceted, can be used indoors, can be used outdoors, can be used individually, with a partner, right or left-handed batters. It's very multi-purpose. Today you're going to be hearing from some pretty powerful hitting men. First of all, Lunch McKenzie is the hitting instructor for Baseball USA hitting clinics across the country. He's a head baseball coach at Concordia University in St. Paul, Minnesota. He's the former USA baseball, Olympic baseball coach in '98. So he's going to add some drills and give you some fundamentals that we can work on to improve ourselves. Secondly, Joe Mauer, the #1 draft choice in 2001, who actually grew up on a version of this product. You're going to be hearing from him on how the Quickswing has helped improve his batting and also how it can help improve yours. Also, we're going to be hearing from Paul Molitor, who is Paul Molitor is a 1993 MVP. He is a 7-time All-Star, 19 years in the big leagues. He has over 3,000 hits. So we're going to be getting some instruction on hitting from Paul. So we encourage you all to listen, and we hope that you'll learn something from it.
All right, the purpose of this clinic is to show the individual as well as the teams or coaches how to practice indoors or outdoors efficiently so as to make yourself a better hitter. And anything that we tell you, or Paul Molitor, or Joe Mauer, Jake Mauer tells you, we can't make you a hitter. This device that we're using, the Quickswing, cannot make you a better hitter. But it can help you improve as a hitter so that you'll be more consistent in everything that you do. Basically, what we need you to do is understand what a quality swing is, what a good swing is. And to do so, you have to understand some basic mechanics that you've probably already been told. You need to get yourself in a balanced stance with your feet wider than your hind end and your shoulders so your body has a center of gravity. You need to lay the bat in your fingers, not wrap your hand around the bat. Lay it in the fingers so your wrist works like you're swinging a hammer or an axe. You want to be able to do these movements efficiently with as little muscle movement as possible. In other words, what I mean is don't use big muscles to perform simple tasks. We suggest that the player take the bat and lay it on his shoulder or her shoulder and keep the elbows relaxed. Whether you hit with your elbow up or elbow down is your personal preference. You'll have to bring the elbow down to swing the bat eventually. So if you loosen up to start here and come down, that's fine. It's personal preference. In the old days, I was told to hit with my elbow up, and I did it because I was told to. But later in my career, I understood that I could bring my elbow down and still have as much or better results. The Quickswing up here in the north is outstanding because we have very little good weather. Right today it's about 23 below zero outside. It's January 25th, and there's not a lot of guys taking ground balls or taking BP outside, whereas if I was in Texas, it might be a little bit different. But what we found with this device is that unlike a hitting tee, which I'm a big proponent of a hitting tee, the ball moves, and we can vary the head of it so that it becomes more difficult or less difficult. So we can take repetitious swings at more of a hitting tee device, and we can make it a very difficult eye-hand coordination device where you have to be short and compact. To play at a higher level, you're going to have a short, compact swing unless you're a very rare individual. And those rare individuals would probably be considered more freaks of nature just because God gave them more ability than some of the rest of us. They may not need any devices, but in teaching the masses, we need to be short to the ball, which means when I'm a young player, I can swing with my barrel and be long to the ball if I'm good because the pitching isn't that good and it's not very refined. At the higher levels, the ball's going to move later. I need to be able to keep my barrel inside longer and swing the bat from the inside out. Most people naturally will swing the bat from the outside in trying to kill the ball. It's very similar to golf. If you use your body to try to swing the club, you're doing too much. So there's no reason to do too much because you're actually swinging a 2-pound bat. It's like throwing a Frisbee. So keep yourself nice, relaxed, slow mind, keep your eyes level. You get a lot of hitters that hit like this. Well, try driving a car like that. You need to keep your eyes level and relaxed. When you drop the ball in a quick swing, you're not going to see it, which is great, and you're just going to have to wait and anticipate, and when the ball's there, bring your hands forward and drive down. You'll have to be quick. The name of the device is very appropriate because you have to be quick to the ball instead of long to the ball. Long to the ball, you'll be a great slow pitch player. You might be a good Little League player, good Babe Ruth player, but when you get to varsity baseball or beyond, the pitchers are going to be refined and be able to come inside, outside, change speeds, and the better pitchers can make the ball curve later than sooner. A kid with a great roundhouse curveball in Babe Ruth is not going to get a good hitter out because that good hitter is going to be so relaxed that as the ball starts to break 45 feet from his hand, he's going to see it and actually be able to reload. If the ball gets right on top of me and breaks, I have to commit some time, and then it's going to be a more effective pitch because it moved late. The quick swing is going to teach you to stay inside and wait. You need to relax your mind and stay calm and let your hands do the work. If you're one of those hitters that's like this, we're literally going to stand on the mound like this and hold the ball and wait for your veins to pop before we throw it, because then we've got you as stiff as possible, and you'll be very inefficient in using big muscle groups to perform small muscle tasks. I highly recommend the quick swing. We use it here at Concordia University constantly. I've used it in training kids at my baseball school, at McKenzie's Baseball USA, and it's a great device no matter where you are in the country. I don't want to make this sound like it's just a northern thing to use, because you can use it on your own or with a partner. You don't need anybody else there. You get a bucket of balls. You can take 50, 60 swings without stopping at a moving target at various levels of difficulty degree, and we just highly recommend it. It's a device that's probably used more here at Concordia than anything other than live pitching. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the next speaker, and thanks for your time.
Tell us a little bit about Quickswing and how long you've been using it.
Okay. Well, my dad came up with the idea probably when I was 7 or 8, around that age. I think it was probably to get us out of the house a little bit more, you know, swinging bats in the house and stuff. But yeah, my dad, you know, came up with it, trying to get me and my two older brothers outside, swinging the bat, and, you know, doing something, you know, useful, I guess. And you know,
how has it improved? How do you think it's improved your swing?
I think it's made me a lot more quicker. You know, hand-eye coordination definitely. You know, it's a little bit different from a tee just because the ball's moving. You know, and requires a lot of hand-eye coordination to do so. And you know, I really like that. You know, and you know, anybody can hit a ball off the tee. You know, if it's moving, it adds a little more difficulty.
Do you have any advice for young little leaguers or people just getting into baseball or just starting out? How this can help them start into playing the game?
When I was young, you know, I used it as something, you know, just fun to do. You know, if you're not having fun doing it, you know, then don't do it. You know, and this is one of my things that I love doing, and you know, if I had a spare chance, I'd go outside in the garage or whatever, and you know, just hit balls until my, you know, hands hurt. So, you know, I just have fun doing what you're doing, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about the quick swing and why we feel it's an important tool that kids can use to become better hitters. What I feel is important to try to develop young hitters is that we want them to teach them to be good hitters first and worry about power later. And what that involves is having a short, quick, compact swing. When you use the quick swing, it forces you to take a long look at the ball. You really can't anticipate too much your swing. You have to wait, use your hands, be quick to the ball in order to have good results. And that's the kind of the pattern we want to develop for young hitters to improve. You can see that when you use the quick swing, it forces you to use those type of approaches to hitting where your hands are quick, your movements are short, everything's kind of compacted into a shorter time frame, enables you to get the bat head to the ball more quickly, more consistently, and therefore produce better results. Now what I see when I watch kids use it, there are some things that they have to be aware of in order to make sure that your practices go correctly. One thing that kids have a tendency to try to do is swing too hard. When we want kids to swing quickly, it doesn't mean we want them to swing overly hard. Now, if a hitter is going to lose his balance and fall off and not have a good foundation underneath them, that means most likely that they're swinging too hard. The quick swing is about being short and quick to the ball. You see it come down the tube and you get to it quickly. Now, when kids have a tendency to swing too hard and lose their balance, therefore they're trying to create too much power without just making a short, direct
approach to the ball coming out of the chute. A couple other things about when you're practicing with the quick swing. Don't be afraid to fail. Hitting has a lot of failure in it. You've always heard the people talk about even the best hitters in baseball fail 7 out of 10 times. When you begin to use this in your practices, you have to understand it's going to take some time, take some patience. You have to have stick-to-itiveness. You have to continue to practice, not being too fearful of the results of not being able to hit the ball all the time in the beginning. And stay with it and be patient. The other thing I want to talk to you about when you swing, try to avoid the tendency to just use your hands. It looks stiff, it looks awkward, and it's uncomfortable. It's important that our hands start first, but our hips and our body has to follow as well. When we incorporate it all together, it should look something like this. See, now when guys get a little bit too stiff, you'll see the swing, and they'll cut off their body like that, and will provide a very awkward stance. You won't produce much power or bat speed. It'll be very difficult to hit that way. And the other thing when you're practicing with the quick swing, the tendency is try to hit the ball as soon as it comes out of the chute. As you improve and practice with it, make sure you let the ball fall down into the strike zone. Don't try to catch it as soon as it comes out of the top of the zone, which is easier to do at first because it's more along our eye level. The key is when the pitcher releases the ball, yes, it does start from up above, but eventually it's going to descend down into the hitting zone. So as you improve on the quick swing, begin to let the ball fall down so you get down, a downward swing, and catch the ball down in the strike zone as up here around the shoulder level, which will be a little bit easier in the beginning. A couple more things about practicing with the quick swing. Make sure you're relaxed. You know, I watch some of these young players practice, and they get real rigid and tight and nervous that they're not going to be good enough to hit the ball when it falls out of the chute. Your muscles fire better from a relaxed position. So it should be calm, you should be breathing, it shouldn't be too stiff, and therefore when you do see the ball, you can react in the most quickest way possible. If you're too rigid, it's going to cause a stiff, awkward swing. And the last thing I'd like to talk about is that make sure that you avoid the tendency of anticipating the ball coming out of the chute with your body. Naturally, your mind knows about when the ball is going to fall out, but you need to wait and be stationary until you see the ball. If you start anticipating and lunging, waiting for the ball to come out, you're going to have head movement, and when you translate that into a game situation, the ball will seem like it's bouncing around, and you'll really have trouble tracking the ball from the pitcher's hand to your bat. So stay relaxed, avoid getting out in front, and be able to stay back and trust that your hands are going to be able to get the bat head to the ball on time. In closing, I want to talk a little bit about the quick swing, why I think it's a good device. Everything in hitting is about being able to see the ball as long as possible, to be relaxed, to be able to trust that you can use your hands to make good contact with the pitch. When you do this drill, you can't anticipate. You have to wait for that ball to come down, and you have to actually see it before you can do anything. And that's how it should be in hitting when you're in a game. To be able to take that short, quick, compact swing and be able to apply it into game situations. There's a lot of drills kids can do, and there's a lot of them that are effective. But I think as far as learning how to be short and compact and quick to the ball, not hard to the ball, not long to the ball, not powerful to the ball, short and quick and efficient and contact to become a good hitter, I think it's very important to be able to use something like this, the quick swing, to help your swing improve.
Mark "Lunch" McKenzie is the current head baseball coach at Concordia University, St. Paul. He has been coaching baseball for over 30 years, and he's the former head coach of the world champion USA Baseball Junior Olympic team and was named USA Olympic Development Coach in the year 2001.
One of the biggest concerns we have as coaches in the development of a player is as a young person's performing a physical skill, are they doing it right? So many times we see kids working on skills and putting the time in and putting the physical effort in, but they're basically performing the skill because they were told to do so by mom, dad, or a coach. When you're practicing a physical component or a physical skill of any game, it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or an expert. The bottom line is, if you're not doing it right, you're doing it wrong, and there's no in between. The same thing applies to hitting. A lot of young players and even older players can use poor technique for a long period of time based on the competition they're playing against and get a good result, but in the long run, it will shorten your career. An example of this is we ask our players to swing down to the baseball. From the hitting position, we want the barrel to come down in what we call an overhand motion as opposed to an underhand motion to the baseball. From there, we swing level and or up. The big controversy is swinging down. We don't swing down on the ball, we swing down to the ball. That's why we hold the barrel up. Otherwise, you'd have hitters holding the barrel down. Everyone holds the barrel up as the pitch is released. We come forward to the ball in a short, compact motion and swing down to the ball, level and or up. Okay, explaining the concept as to why to swing down to the ball gets simpler if I can show you this simple demonstration. As a pitcher, I release the ball out front. My catcher wants the ball at my hitter's knees. I'm not going to get the ball up on Kirk because he's used the Mauer Quickswing and he's going to do some damage. I will not elevate the ball for my hitter unless I make a mistake. I'm going to keep the ball down in hopes that he hits a ground ball or keeps the ball in the ballpark. Here's a simple demonstration that we use. As I release the ball out front, I'm trying to throw the ball to Kirk's knee. As you can see from here, in order to do so, this ball has to travel on a downhill plane. It's basically coming downhill about 4 feet. Now, that's on flat ground, because on a pitcher's mound, I'm elevated 10 inches. So now you raise my arm up another 10 inches. Here, that ball is coming down at a considerable downhill plane. Keep in mind that's my fastball, because my slider, changeup, curveball, breaking ball, split finger, blah, blah, blah. Whatever pitch I have other than my fastball is going to sink more based on the spin, lack of spin, or change of speeds. Over the years in my coaching, in 35 years of coaching at all different levels, I've tried a lot of different devices, a lot of different gimmicks, a lot of different tools, a lot of different drills. Some I love, some I've gone away from. The Mauer Quickswing came into my life about 2 years ago, and I used it with my college team. I've used it with my own sons, my own daughter in the backyard. And I've developed what I call my top 10 reasons that I prefer the Mauer Quickswing to any other station device. 1, you can use it by yourself or with a partner. Unlike a tee, with the Mauer Quickswing, the ball's moving. That's number 2. Number 3, the ball is moving on a downhill plane. 4, you have to wait and see the ball and react. This is why they call it a quick swing. Number 5 is you can use it in any climate. Number 6, you can vary the degree of difficulty by simply adjusting the head or by changing the size of the ball, bat, or stick. As I mentioned earlier, it's portable. It can be easily transported, stored, or hung. Number 8 is it's durable. It doesn't wear out or bend or break like tees. Number 9, this product is endorsed by professionals. And number 10, my players love it. I want to thank the Mauers for introducing me to this device. I want to thank them for allowing me to share it with you. And I want you to remember one thing. If you're not doing it right, you're doing it wrong, and there's no in between.
While in high school, Joe Mauer hit .605 with only 1 strikeout in his whole high school career. He is the first player to be named Gatorade USA Today National High School Player of the Year in both baseball and football. In 2001, he was drafted #1 overall by the Minnesota Twins. And in 2003, he was named Minor League Player of the Year by Baseball America. Joe was the American Idol on the front cover of Sports Illustrated. He was also selected the American League MVP in 2009 and was a 3-time All-Star and American League batting champion in 2006, 2008, and 2009. Now, you can learn how to hit like Joe Mauer with our detailed breakdown analysis of Joe's swing. You'll also observe his unique training method for developing exceptional hand-eye coordination using a quick swing, a metal stick bat, and a plastic golf ball. Joe has a solid foundation with the lower half of his body. His knees are slightly bent, and his feet are wider than shoulder width apart. His weight distribution is approximately 40% on the front leg and 60% on the back leg. His head and eyes are level, and his shoulders, neck, and face are relaxed. His hands are at the top of the strike zone, while holding the bat at about a 45-degree angle with his front elbow down. Joe starts by moving the bat around in his hands to prevent himself from gripping the bat too tightly. But his hands become very quiet right before he begins his swing. Joe brings his hands forward through the zone, and his head and eyes have shifted down slightly so as to see the contact zone. But his head has not moved forward. He has simply lowered his eyes. Joe drags the barrel of the bat, keeping it and his hands inside of the baseball. His front elbow is down, and his back hip is beginning to rotate while he keeps his front shoulder in. As Joe swings, he will take the barrel of the bat straight to the ball by snapping the wrist of his top hand with an inside-out swing rather than looping the barrel to the ball with an outside-in swing. This is why his swing is so efficient. There is no wasted movement. Once the barrel of Joe's bat has gone straight to the ball and through the zone, his top hand rolls over and he finishes his swing high so as not to decelerate the bat. He does not cut his swing off. Also notice, his head is in the same position that it was when he began his physical approach to the ball. When he finishes his swing, his weight is back but centered. His front leg is straight. His back leg is bent, and he has squished the bug with his back foot. During Paul Molitor's illustrious 21-year career, he amassed 3,319 hits, a lifetime batting average of .306, a World Series MVP, 9 All-Star Game appearances, and is widely considered as one of the best